as promised, here's a video to walk you through the process of creating your Pro Presenter playlist for Christmas Eve from PCO, and the things you're going to need to do that. A lot of these steps we'll be able to use moving forward, as I want to move towards creating our weekly Pro Presenter playlists directly from our PCO plans. But specifically, this is what you need to do for Christmas Eve. So I've got Pro Presenter open here. And one thing that you'll see over in PCO, I have in matrix view each of our lessons and carols Christmas Eve services. Now you can see there's a little bit of differences over at Carmel. They've got a few different things going on for their pre-service, so they've got a few different things going on. But then when you go, you've got your headers. You can see where the similarities are. You can see we've got Once in Royal David City, the different pieces, etc. But you can see the similarity of everything, which is really important for using this process, for having things named the same way across the board makes things extremely easy, or at least much easier for this. So over in this tab, I have the Indianapolis service plan. And then you will see also I've got in my notes, I've got listed whether band is leading or organ is leading, um, Jason speaking, I'm doing the sermon. In a day or so, I'm going to put in which readers are doing which readings, so that would all be printed in kind of a tech manuscript that we will have printed out for each of the sites for each of the services. But as in putting this together, I'm going to be going back and forth between Pro Presenter and Planning Center to make sure that I am putting in the correct songs and the correct verses, etc. So I'm going to go back over to my Finder window. Yesterday, I had emailed you guys a compressed file for Christmas Eve Pro7 files, and inside of that is the font that's used in the main graphic, and we're using in some headers. And then there's a folder for all of the pieces that I created, the library pieces for Pro7 that I created for Christmas Eve. Moving forward, hopefully very soon in the new year, we will all be utilizing a shared library. So we won't need to send things like this out. We'll all be pulling our pieces from the same place. So one of the first things that you'll need to do on the Macs that we use in our worship services is double click on the font, Holiday Cookies. What a cute name. You open it up and then you'll see this install font button. Go ahead and click that. It'll load it up, and there it goes. It says multiple copies of this font are installed. Because I already installed it, I'm just going to go ahead and resolve that. And then open up the library items and go ahead and quit the font book. In your documents folder on the Mac, you will have a folder called Pro Presenter. I have a shortcut over here in the sidebar so that I can access it easily, but that's where you find it. So I will go into there, and inside your Pro Presenter folder, you've got configuration, you've got downloads, libraries, media, playlists, presets, and themes. All we need to worry about right now is libraries. Media is where we put our assets, whether they be videos or they be stills for backgrounds and whatnot. That's where they go. But libraries is where the actual presentation files go. And so right now I'm just using the default library. And so there's all the things that I have in the library on my computer. And so if you go back over to the files that I sent, if you just click on one to select it and then do a Command A to select all, and then if you click and drag over to this window, you'll see, oh, I've got 27 files. And then you let go. Now, some of these things, there may already be files created, let's say for some of the songs or whatnot. For easiness sake, just go ahead and click the Apply to All button and then choose Replace. And that'll make sure that everything that you're getting is the version that we are all going to be. I don't know if that sound came through, and if it did, I apologize. That was really noisy. But now we know that all of the library files are where we need them to be. And so now when I go back over to Pro Presenter, in this top left window, we'll have listed libraries and playlists. What shows up here is a little bit different than it used to be in Pro 6. It's kind of contextual. When I click on library, in there I see all of the items that are in my library. When I click on a playlist, then I see all of the items that are in that playlist in order. Just so you know. I'm going to go back here and select library just so we've got something selected. Then you're going to choose this plus button in the library playlist window. So you click plus and you can create a new library, a new presentation, you can add a playlist, you can create a new playlist folder. But what we want to do is create a Planning Center service. So select that. If you're not already connected to Planning Center in your Pro Presenter app, that's under Pro Presenter Preferences. If you don't know how to do that, let me know and I can walk you through that. But here, it lists all of our different service types. And so I'm going to be doing CLC Indianapolis. I'll open up that window. I have mine set up in Indianapolis Contemporary. I'll open up that window. And then what I want to create is Together in Love 2024. Sorry, December 24th, 2021. So I will click on that and hit select. It'll do this stuff in the background. And then you'll see here in my playlist, I've got Together in Love. And then here it says a service of lessons and carols. And then you'll see that the headers are there, each of the items are there, and then if you scroll through the actual service over here to the right, you'll see pre-service slides has already connected to pre-service slides. Pre-service music, I actually didn't use a slide for pre-service music. I'll explain that in a minute. Once in Royal David City, um, and this shows the file that it's connected to. Nothing's showing up there, but it's there. I'll explain that. I've got welcome. I've got our theme. Um, there's the bidding prayer. Oh, it's interesting. A couple of my formats did not carry through, so I will need to see about that. But just about everything is there, and now I need to do a little bit of tweaking to make sure that everything agrees with the service that's put together in PCO. All right, so pre-service music. This is more just a placeholder for the person that's running. As you saw in Carmel Traditional, Josh is using that to put some various things. But I'm not putting anything on the screens at Indy. So if I come over here to the left where you get this little, what is that? One, two, three, four, hexagon, where it says pre-service music. If you click on that, you get these options. You can upload this file that's currently linked to it to Planning Center, or you can hit unlink. For this instance, I'm going to hit unlink because I don't want anything connected to it. And now that collapsed. Now it's gone. Okay. So now we've got Once in Royal David City. If you were in the meeting yesterday, you'll know that for some reason it keeps on grabbing the Andrew PCO version, which none of us want to use. So what I will do, it's already connected to the correct file. The problem is we've got a weird arrangement. If you hover over each of these things, eventually it'll tell you what it is. So you've got slideshow, you've got notes, arrangements, which is what we want. You can create a timeline, which I think does some automated things. But what we're worried about here, and really the main thing we're going to be worried about, is arrangements. So I'm going to click on the arrangements button, And up here at the top, you see the groups. And these are all the groups that are available in the master arrangement. And here it says Andrew PCO empty arrangement. If I click on this drop down menu, you'll see that there's the master, okay, which will show everything. There's this Andrew arrangement. There's the Folky arrangement that I'm going to be doing. There's the HHB arrangement that Max is going to be doing. And so I'm doing the Folky arrangement. I've already created it, and so I will hit Folky, and then there's the things that I laid out, and I'll explain this in just a second. And so there's the arrangement. You've got verse 1, verse 2, verse 3, and verse 4. Okay, so let's say that the arrangement you're doing isn't available. So what I'll do is I'll come to this drop-down menu, and I can do a new arrangement. Okay, so I'm going to click that, and I'm just going to call this test arrangement, and then I'll click OK. And then what it does is it automatically populates the arrangement with everything that's in all the groups that are in your master, and it puts them in that order, okay? So let's say, okay, I know I'm not going to do verse 5, and when you hover over in the arrangement piece, you get that X. I can delete verse 5. Well, I'm actually going to do verse 1 again at the morning. So I come up to where it says groups, and I click, and I drag it into place. Okay. Oh, that's in the wrong place. I can click and drag it over. And as you do that, it makes the changes in what will actually be there. And so then when you are done with your arrangement, you can click that arrangement button again, and it hides that, and then you're good to go. So obviously I'm not using test arrangement. I'm going to go back there and I'll actually delete that. Let me show you how to do that. If you go to the arrangement manager, you get your list of arrangements. And you know what? Seriously, Andrew, no shade to you. I'm going to select Andrew. Whoops, that gave me an option to rename it. I'm going to select Andrew, and I'm going to hit the minus button, and it deletes it. I'm going to hit this test arrangement, and I'm going to hit the minus button, and it deletes it. I can close my arrangement manager. I can go back and select my Folky arrangement and close the arrangement window, and I'm good to go for Once in Royal David City. Keep on scrolling down. Welcome. There's our welcome slide. Theme. There's our theme slide, and I've got it starting out with this generic theme and then going into the actual theme for Christmas Eve. After that is the bidding prayer. So my formatting on my text there didn't carry through. So I'm going to select the bidding prayer. I'm going to hit the edit. So up at the top, you've got some of these main buttons are show, which is what you want to be in when you're running the show. Edit lets you edit the slides. Reflow lets you readjust the text in a pretty easy way. Bible, we're going to be able to connect Bibles to it. But what I want to do is I want to edit. I'm going to hit the edit button. So you can see I've already dragged a background file there. My text looks like it's the right size, but it's the wrong font. So I'm going to select that text box, and you'll see over here in objects, I've got the text element selected. Over here on the top right, you've got shape, text, and build. What I want to adjust is the text. And for some reason, it's Helvetica. Everybody loves Helvetica. I don't want that for this issue. So I know that I've already used this font file. Oh, but it's not showing up there yet. Okay, so now I need to scroll down. It was holiday something or other, something cute. Holiday, Hoffler, impact. Oh, you know what? Something very interesting happened. I think because I installed the font after ProPresenter was already open, something wacky happened. So we're going to pause here for just a second. I'm going to go ahead and quit ProPresenter. Yes, I want to quit it. And then let's go ahead and reopen ProPresenter. And this may solve our problem. Let's see if it does. There we go. All right, now let's select our bidding prayer and go back into our edit and see if that font is there or if I screwed something up. No, I must have screwed something up since I already had it installed. So we're going to pause. I'm going to reconnect and edit this piece in. I already had holiday cookies installed, and you don't as of yet. But what happened when I installed it? For some reason, right now I've got Font Book open up, but you'll see that it says off. I don't know why it did that, but it did. So if you right click on that, and then you've got enable holiday cookies. Okay, so I'm going to enable that. Multiple copies of this font are enabled. Resolve. Okay, and so it's still there. So let's go back and open ProPresenter again. All right, it still didn't select it automatically. But at least their holiday cookies is in my font list. So what I'm going to do, because this won't be a problem for you, is I'm going to go through and fast forward and make all those changes. You should not have to do this part. If you make sure that you install the font before you open up ProPresenter, you should not have that same problem that I just did. I'll make sure I post a note in wherever I post this, so you make sure that you do that. Install the font, then open up ProPresenter. Okay, so now we've got the font in there and things are looking correct. One thing that I want to make sure that I showed you as far as my process. So for Once in Royal David City, right? I'm doing this particular version. I'm doing these particular verses. So what I will do is I will hop over to my planning center and I'll go Once in Royal David City. And I make myself a note, verses 1 through 3 and verse 5. And so I can make sure that my arrangement is correct. 1, 2, 3. Oh, hold on a second. And I don't know why that was incorrect. So let me go ahead and I'll change that. Maybe that was because I did something. Okay, so now 1, 2, 3, and 5. Everything is now correct. Glad we had this conversation. All right, continuing through. There's the welcome, there's the theme, there's bidding prayer, and I can just keep going. Theme, bidding prayer. Okay, Lord's Prayer. Everything is lining up the way that it's supposed to. Children's message, angels we have heard on high. Okay, we've got an arrangement issue again. So I'll click this open and it says I'm on the LSB version. Click back over and I'm going to do verses 1 and 2. So I already did create an arrangement for verses 1 and 2. So I will select that. And then again, you've got a chorus, Gloria in Excelsis Deo. That happens every verse. So verse 1, chorus 1, verse 2, and then drag chorus back over there. Delete verse 3 if you had to. Continuing through. Okay, so now we start the service of lessons and carols. The readings are already created. So they, after you've put them into the library, will automatically link. This is the beautiful thing about this. Do it once and then have it automatically happen across all the sites. Okay, Creators of the Stars of Night is next. I don't have a note here for some reason, but if I created a sequence in the song and I'm going to do verse 1, verse 2, chorus, verse 3, verse 5, chorus. So there's verse 1, verse 2, chorus, verse 3, verse 5, chorus. That one is all set. There's the second lesson. Lo, how a rose ere blooming. We've got an arrangement issue. This is the one thing that Planning Center and ProPresenter are still having issues with, is being able to have sequences that you create in Planning Center automatically carry over to ProPresenter. So we just can't trust this right now, which is why you got to double check it. Okay, low hair, how a rose, 1, 2, and 3. I will click my arrangement button, and because I did this a couple days ago, there's 1 through 3 arrangement, 1, 2, and 3. There we go. Close the arrangement. Third lesson. Okay, Mother of God is one of the songs that I am doing as a music special music, a performance piece. And so for those, I want to have the titles up on the screen in big during the song. I'm not going to have the lyrics. So what I did, let me go to my arrangements. So I created a special music version. Max's Better Arrangement is something that we did as a joke example yesterday. I created a special music arrangement with our group as intro, and I created a new slide. Um, Typically in Pro Presenter, on our intro slides is where it will put all of the copyright information: who wrote it, who is it by, who owns the copyright, etc. So I created a second intro slide where I put the title. This one doesn't do it because I don't have that information in this file. But then your operator will click here, and then we'll click there, and that title will be up for the duration of the song. There's our fourth lesson. God with Us is another special music. So I will come here and make sure that I have the special music version of it. And there you can see where the copyright information shows up on the first slide, and then it goes away and just shows the title on the next slide. Okay, sermon bumper video. This is something that Andrew is still working on. We don't have yet. So this is going to be here for right now, and we're going to have to put it in when it's done, and I will let you know how to do that. The homily. This is something that we said, at least for Christmas Eve, that the preaching pastors are going to be responsible for getting this in here. If you are the one that's putting together the slides, make sure that before the first lessons and carols service on Christmas Eve, did the pastor do that? Are the pastor's slides up there? And if not, then check with them and make sure that that happens. And I'm going to put together a separate video to remind the preachers how to do that. And we've got our fifth lesson, and then we've got a slide for the lighting of the candles. Silent Night, again, we've got this Andrew version. What is up with that Andrew guy? But again, I created a 1 through 3 arrangement already. And there we go. We've got our sixth lesson, um, offering announcement. Okay, so this is one where we've got it's called offering announcements in our service plan, but we don't really have a file called offering announcement. So what I did for this service, um, again, if you hover over these buttons, they'll tell you what they are. Attachments will show you files that Planning Center has attached to this playlist. You can create a brand new presentation. You can import, and I think that might be importing from text that you have copied on your clipboard, or you can do a search, which will search through your entire library. So if I click on the magnifying glass, and it automatically puts the name in there, so it's going to search that particular name. And this left, this is the ProPresenter logo, so it's looking in ProPresenter's library, and then this over here looks in Song Select, okay, which is the CCLI application where we get lyrics and things like that. But I know that I want to look in here, um, because did you see that where I just moused over because announcement is a long word? It's not showing me on the first screen. So I'm going to delete all that. And then here are things that either have offering in the title or offering in the lyrics. I'm just going to select this first offering, and it's called offering. There's the text that's in it. I'm going to go ahead and hit link. And I've already got that set up. I already did that the other day. I've already got that set up with our font style. Okay, so that's done. King of Kings. This is a longer, more intricate sequence. So I want to make sure that I've got it right. Intro, verse 1. I don't actually have a turnaround slide. I think I made that decision before. Chorus, verse 2, chorus, verse 2. Oh, there should be a chorus after verse 2. No, there's not. That's incorrect. I apologize about that. It goes from verse 2 right into verse 3. I need to change that in my sequence. Okay, yeah, this is all wrong. Okay, so I do need to change the arrangement. So I'm going to click my arrangement button. And version 1. Okay, so that's right. It's from verse 3 immediately into verse 4. So there is a chorus after verse 2, verse 3, verse 4, chorus, and then the tag. So that is set and ready to go. We've got our 7th lesson, communion set up. So after this song, we are going to talk about communion, talk about how we are going to do communion. So my thought was we would just link it to the theme graphic. So I'm going to click my search button and just type theme. Theme shows up, okay? And I'll click link. Now, we've got 2 slides here for the theme because when we first showed it, we showed the generic theme and then we showed the specific theme for the evening. But you notice I made generic theme verse 1 and I made specific theme chorus 1. So I created an arrangement where we've got both that shows both, and then just week. I can probably come up with a much better name than that, but 2 evenings ago, that was the best I could do. So I'm going to click that arrangement, and so then during our communion setup, all that's going to be on the screen is the theme for the evening. We've got a words of institution slide. During the distribution, we will just put up our theme graphic again, but this time it's just going to be that. And actually, I'm sorry, I actually have a slide called distribution, and that should be in your pack. And in the distribution presentation, I put the logo. Dismissal, don't need a slide for that, so we can just keep that graphic up there. And then we've got, oh, come all ye faithful. Let's go back over to Planning Center and make sure that I've got that right. I want verse 1 through 2. I've got all the verses there, so that's not right. So let's come over to our arrangements, and I will choose 1 and 2. And again, there's a chorus for this one, so make sure that you put that in there both times. And go ahead and close my arrangements. Okay, this is something that synced up incorrectly. If I look in Planning Center, this is a prayer. Pro presenter said, "Oh, maybe you meant bidding prayer." We don't. We already did the bidding prayer. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to say unlink, and then I will search, and I'm pretty sure I just have I thought, was it post sermon prayer? Nope. Bidding prayer, offering prayer, prayer and invocation. No. Okay, I may need to create a new one. So this is perfect. This is a great example. Okay, so for prayer, I will come here and do you know what I did? Sorry, I put up the theme again because we don't need to know that we're praying. I mean, we need to know that we're praying, but we don't need a slide that says we're praying. We don't need a slide that says final words. So I'm going to attach the theme again. So again, search theme and link, and then arrangement, just week, and close the arrangement. Now that slide is good for this and for the next one. Okay, benediction. For some reason, it's automatically linked it to the Matins version of the benediction, which I don't want. So we will go unlink, and then we will search and benediction. And I believe for this instance, I just did benediction contemporary, which again, you should have in your library that I sent you. Link, there it is. And then final song, Hark the Herald Angels. I'm doing the version that has the Hark the Herald Angels and King of Heaven together. and it says that they are correct. Let me just go ahead and check my. So I've got verse 1, verse 2, and then the King of Heaven chorus comes in, verse 3, King of Heaven chorus, and then the tag. So that is correct. I'll close that. And then what I did for the postlude is, again, I put the theme in there because as people are walking out, I want them to remember that we are together in love. And so I'll go there, just the week. And the Christmas Eve Lessons and Carols service is finished. I know that was a lot of talking through. I made mistakes, and I wanted you to see the mistakes that I made, and how to solve them. But a lot of the work is already done when we pull the playlist from the PCO service that we've already created. I hope this makes sense. If you have any questions, please let me know. But as we start making these moves, it's going to make what we do that much more automatic, that much easier. Work is going to have to be done once and then replicatable across all of our sites, with minimal amount of work after that point, because everything is going to be pulled from Planning Center, which we've already said is correct, and we're going to come up with a date that we're going to say, okay, Planning Center is this service is locked in. We create the services. It's going to be awesome. So we've created a playlist from Planning Center services. As of right now, this playlist is still linked to PCO. And you'll see that there's this update available button, arrow. And if you click that, it'll go back up and look and go, oh, is everything still where it needs to be? But some of those things, like those arrangements that we switched and whatnot, get confused. Um, between PCO and Pro Presenter. Like I say, that's one of those things that gets confusing. So if you accidentally hit that button, um, it will search and it will unfortunately undo some of the work that you've already done. So my recommendation after you've done all of this work, and you can even do it after you create the playlist, is come up and right click on your playlist and hit convert to standard playlist. It's pretty instantaneous. You see it changes that logo. There's no longer that update button, but that then kind of divorces the Pro Presenter playlist from the Planning Center service, and that way you don't run that risk of accidentally undoing things that you've already done. So make sure that that's a step, whether it's the last step you do after you complete everything, or maybe it's the step that you do immediately after creating the playlist from Planning Center. And now that it's a um, standard playlist in Pro Presenter, then you can move things around, and we shouldn't have to, right? Because this order is already correct. It's the agreed upon order that we're doing the service. You shouldn't have to do it. But in the case of a week to week thing, here's where you can make those simple changes. Okay, that's it.